Hey guys, it's your boy Stinkfist. Now today I want to be talking about something that I would like to see along with hashtag some changes. Something I would think would be a nice improvement for TBC and it wouldn't be a big ass investment on Blizzard's end, or it wouldn't really drastically change the game or actually change it whatsoever perhaps. Now, I would like to talk about two things, and the first of the two things would be dual spec. Now, is dual spec a good idea? It did come out in Wrath of the Lich King, and in Wrath of the Lich King, it was widely regarded, at least as I recall, as a quality improvement to the life of each individual. It was pretty good since if you're a PvE player, you can maybe play two different roles in PvE. If you're a PvP player, you could play PvP with one spec and have another for PvE. Or if you're a PvP spec only player, you could have two different PvP specs. And that really drastically changed how you have to approach respecking. So for now in Classic, each time you want to respec, you have to go to the trainer, pay some money, which alright, you gotta do what you gotta do. But then you have to reorganize a whole bunch of talents from scratch. Maybe if you do it a lot, you're bound to fuck up once or twice. And then you have to redo your keybinds or use some kind of add-on to do your keybinds as well. Relearn the spells. It's a whole hassle. Now, dual spec removes that hassle and you just have to click a button. For some people, that might be dumbing down the game, but really, I don't think anybody would really hate dual spec, especially since dual spec in Lich King had a pretty steep cost of 1000 gold. So you had to pay 1000 gold up front, at least as I remember, maybe that was less, but you had to pay some gold up front for you to even access the feature. And then you could swap all year round, like you can swap forever. Your character just had two specs and you can swap in between, respec one, respec the other, make new talents, new glyphs, blah 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 blah. It was really cool. I really like dual spec. Now, dual spec adds variety to the game. Dual spec would, in my mind, make PvP available to PvE players and make PvE available to some PvP players. Like there would be more of a mix between the two. Because for now, at least where I'm from, people don't like to respec all the time, and those people that are really serious about the game or are really serious about ranking or really serious about PvE, they sometimes, but not often, do the double respec a week thing, which means they lose a lot of gold, they have to go through all the hassle, etc., etc. But if I want to do some PvP, I really don't want to go through the whole process of respecking my character for PvP, maybe do Battleground or two, and then respec it again for PvE, which I do most of the time, at least in Classic. Now I know in TBC I'm going to do a whole lot more of PvP, but I really don't want to do it at the cost of not doing PvE. Like, it would be great if I didn't have to respec twice a week or maybe even more times a week, because I'm just not gonna PvE then. Fuck PvE. I don't need to go to SSC for gear. I want to PvP. That's my whole shtick. But hey, if dual spec is there, well, boy, I'm gonna play the game more. I'm gonna play PvP, I'm gonna raid with the proper spec, I'm not gonna grief other people, I'm gonna PvP with the proper spec, and you might even funnel some gold out of the economy with the dual spec. Now, dual spec might be pricier in TBC, you might implement it, differently, maybe a quest, this, that, more involved for people who really want it. But it's something that really doesn't detract anything from the game. In my opinion, it adds so much more. Maybe you can make an argument it detracts a bit, like it's not really no changes, stuff like that. But at the end of the day, you would unlock so much more content for so much more people, and you would make a really nice quality of life improvement that wouldn't kill the flavor of the game at all, in my opinion. Now, the second thing I think would be an amazing contribution to the health of TBC would be fresh servers. Now, fresh servers could be denied by Blizzard, and I believe they stated something like there will be no fresh servers for TBC launch without any context. Now, that might refer to classic fresh servers, where you go through classic all over again. But maybe they thought all fresh servers and any fresh servers. Now, as we've seen in the last couple of days, a few Discord groups and communities popped up that were really adamant about making a fresh server experience. Now, what they did was they gathered up some people and they basically agreed to take a dying or a really low pop server and just treat it as a fresh server for TBC. Because players are really sick of the broken economy, of the amount of people that are gonna be everywhere when TBC launches. But on the flip side, if we would get some official fresh servers, that would be amazing. Like servers that launch when TBC launches and they have nobody on them before that. We all start from the same starting point. You get this staggered wave of leveling through Outland instead of everybody under 60s rushes in, And this time even we're gonna have Blood Elves and Draenei at level 60 before TBC launches, because they're gonna release Blood Elves and Draenei in the pre-patch. Maybe the fresh server community and the fresh server people are not that vast in numbers, so maybe there's no call for it being a lot of servers, but maybe majority of players would like fresh servers. It would be really cool to see a survey about this, to see Blizzard getting a bit involved into the fresh server thing, because fresh servers really cost nothing to the game. Maybe to Blizzard they have to pay something for the servers, but when you think about it, there has not been one single Blizzard launch that has gone flawlessly. We saw with Classic's launch how much of a shit show that was, because initially it was stated that there's going to be 2 or 3 EU servers, and at the end now we have maybe 20 to 50, I have no idea, involving Russian servers, Spanish servers, Polish servers, German servers, and a whole host of European English-speaking servers. And all of those servers were fresh when Classic launched. They had to incrementally stagger them on. Like at first it was Gehennas and some other bullshit, and then they had to add Firemaw and Ashbringer and this and that, and they keep adding servers for the whole first week of Classic launch, maybe even 2 weeks. They kept adding servers because they had to, because they weren't expecting such a big player base to come and play the game, or maybe they have, but they wanted the shit to launch. I don't know. Considering that, I think that in TBC's launch, we might experience the same thing. We might experience a thing where they really do underestimate how many people like to play TBC, because remember, Classic had a huge fan base, huge player base, a huge private server community before Classic WoW launched. But TBC was enjoyed by a whole host of more people, maybe 7 million at the peak, maybe I'm I'm eyeballing it here from memory. And that's a whole lot more than got to experience TBC. There's a whole lot more people who experience TBC than they did Classic, Vanilla back in the day. So I think a lot of those people might come back. There's a whole host of players who didn't play Classic, they just stuck with TBC servers. And I think we're gonna see a vast increase in the amount of WoW players, especially when TBC launches. I think it's going to be overcrowded once again. Every server is going to be chock full of people. And at that point, I think fresh servers are inevitable. Now, the question with those servers would be, are there going to have transfers to those servers from existing servers? In my opinion, there should be always a couple of servers that are immune from transfers, that have their own new fresh little bubble for TBC, and they're just the TBC server, and that's it. And that would be beautiful. That would really make the TBC experience much better for me and much better for a lot of people I know. And obviously there are communities growing that would enjoy the same thing. Now, considering all of this, these two changes I think are really reasonable. There's something they can implement incrementally. They can test it out on the beta. Beta is going to be fresh anyway, and the WoW buying aspect is really an aspect of WoW you have to consider. So with the fresh servers, there might be something there, and with the dual spec, there might be also something there. Now, thank you all for watching. If you have any opinion about any of these topics, these two topics, please comment down below, and I urge you to subscribe, to share my video, and to give a like. And thank you all so much for watching. Over and out.